Hello and welcome to 110 Yards. I'm Coach Aaron Page, the Canadian coaching American football in Denmark. Back with me today is Kevin Mwamba, um, the recent champion with in the ALF with the Frankfurt Galaxy. How you doing, Kevin? Comment ça
I'm
va,
doing
frérot?
good. Ça va, ça va. Ça va, ça va. I'm good, Aaron, and you, bro.
Good, man. You know what's great? So I've been taking Danish lessons here since February and doing very well. I can understand most things and stuff like that. But I found my French is I still understand it, but like
Yeah,
trying to speak it, juggling English now Danish and like I can't do it.
yeah. It's hard when you don't practice it like pretty much every
Yeah,
day, I could say, for every language.
it's true. Like I there's a French guy in the language school with me, and I'm helping him sometimes. But when I go to speak French, it's like a mix of Danish and French because my brain is just you know
Mixed with two languages, that must be something else.
yeah. So yeah, man. I guess the big thing to start with is ELF champion. How does that feel? And you know,
Feels damn good. It feels damn good.
I can imagine. The guy I'm staying with, Miko Bo, he's first down photo, and he actually traveled down to the game
Yeah.
and got to be there as a photographer. And he just said the atmosphere was wild. Um, what was it like walking into that stadium full of all those fans? And
Well, it was crazy because with some of the guys on the team, we were talking about like who played in a big stage like during his career, and there weren't a lot actually. That was the first thing that came in mind because I remember me. Uh, if I remember, Rocklo, the
yeah,
Panthers, we played the World Games final in their stadium, right? And I remember that game was practically full. Like it was a full game, and they could receive. There were like I think more than 20,000 people. So there were more people that there were I think at the championship game, but the difference was that the stadium wasn't closed, so which means that you don't feel the proximity with the fans. And the difference, like at the LF Championship, that was the case. So like the fans were very close, and the stadium was just like that was just amazing. It's pretty much like not I'm not gonna say dream come true, but having this game national television, like with national television, you also have the people on stream, and you also have like people all over Europe came to the game to watch it, and pretty much it was basically full except at the round of the stadium
yeah.
and in the zone, like in the standing zone, but besides that, the other everything like was packed. There was people all over the place. So that was good. I mean, felt like I'm not gonna say NFL type of game. I mean, yeah, NFL type of game, I guess. Like the atmosphere and everything. That was very good.
Yeah, I was excited watching like the league all year. You know, everyone was always like curious, like what's the ELF going to be like? And I think too, like seeing that it was kind of like with Corona just ending, everyone wanted to get out and do something again. So I think that helped get people out to the game. And you know, it was high caliber football all year. I paid for some of the or was with people that paid for some of the streams to watch the games, and I was impressed with the level of play. And I mean, knowing you, when I heard you got signed with Frankfurt, I was excited because like it's always fun when you know somebody out there on the field. So every time I saw you out there, I was spy camming
Yeah,
Kevin. Like, let me see what he's doing on this play, you know? And
I appreciate that. I mean, the to be honest with you, like I know a lot of people were not happy with that league because of what could come at the end of it, but at the end of the day, I mean, I think that's what we need in Europe, like to have a major league. I don't know if people consider this as a major league, but I think that's the goal. So that
yeah,
this league could be a major, and that we can have a bigger platform to have the American football on map on Europe because it's good to have the other leagues. I'm not gonna that's not gonna change it. I mean, it should not change, to be honest with you. But have a major league like this, that could be like a game changer for the future, especially for the young players.
Yeah,
Because
I agree. It's something they can set their sights on. You know, obviously they can go to college in the US and with the CFL global,
yeah,
spot, that's really exciting for guys over here because they're kind of guaranteed at least one roster spot for a European player. But I
hmm,
also think what you're saying about the other leagues, part of me was thinking like there's been teams in Germany, in Austria, in other countries that dominate year after year after year. And now, as we've seen the teams in Austria joining up, I think that lets the domestic league sort of catch up and even the playing field now for better competition and better development for the guys in each country, right? Um,
exactly.
and those other teams wanted a challenge too. And I think it's a good thing for football in Europe. Some people may
Yeah,
disagree, but that's my
everybody
view.
should see this as a win-win because for me, I always say to people, imagine now you have the ELF, but now the other leagues could be, a chance for younger players to go over there and play because they could use this as, how can I say that, as a trampoline to after go to the ELF. Because if the ELF becomes the major league that it should be, which means the other leagues will be more like a development league. I don't know
Hmm.
if I can say that, development league, so that you could have younger player who didn't get a shot before in those leagues, but now they could go over there and play. And imagine if you're a player going to Canada and you don't make it, like Canada or USA, and you don't make it to the bigger leagues. At least when you come back to Europe, you know that you have the major league, the ELF, and you also have the other leagues. Like that, it shouldn't be as negative as people think. To be
Yeah,
honest with you, it's just that people need to put their pride on the side and see how they could make things work so that football in Europe doesn't end up dead. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we could still make this work. It's just that we all know the problem is going to be money for certain people. That's it. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, we want this to work and that football becomes better. And I think that's a big way for football to be better.
Yeah, and I think, doing if you look at the history, anytime people have tried to make sort of these major leagues in the past, it hasn't worked out. But, now that it's happening and it had a great successful season despite Corona and despite all that stuff, I think people are now under like seeing that, okay, this can be a thing for, and like you said,
Exactly.
spreading it out over multiple countries. It brings people together. You got team in Barcelona now. You got team in Turkey now in the league.
Yeah.
You know, and, like experience those different cities too is like probably be a cool feeling.
It is. I mean, just like you said, and that was despite Corona, that was a great year for the ELF. So imagine without Corona, what it's going to be,
I know,
you know?
and
And the thing is that is handled by European people, not people outside. Now that's the big difference too. Is that European people are getting are putting are putting this forward. It's not like the Americans are putting this forward. It's like European people are taking care of it. And even for the players, like if you watch it in the league, yes, we have the American players who are still dominant, but you also have the European players who are showing off their skills, like the French people. The French people, I'm thinking as well about the Spanish tight end from Hamburg. Who else? Yeah, you have many players for real, and people need to understand. Even the quarterback from Cologne, like
yeah,
that guy too. Like local guy is the now the franchise quarterback of his team. I mean, that's amazing. I think that's great. So I think it will just get better for European people and American players who wants to play now in a higher level could have a league or they could be in this league too. But the good thing is for European people is that American people are very is very limited for them because you don't have now you cannot have that double passport thing. Like if you do a passport, like you'd be considered American if you played like in high school, if I remember correctly.
Okay,
So
that's a good thing because a lot of teams sometimes the more money teams in Germany, they like to take advantage of that quite a bit.
exactly. But now, if I'm not mistaken, that's why I prefer to be precise. If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
you would be considered as an American if you played high school in the US. So I mean, that doesn't leave a lot of option for people.
Yeah, true. And actually, there was a guy, a Danish dude. He was playing center for you guys, I think, or O line.
Yeah, Yaka.
Yeah. And then, hey, are you a little bit jealous? He got to come back, and then he wins a Mermaid Bowl with the Copenhagen Towers. So he kind of double
Oh
dipped
yeah, I
this
saw
year.
that.
Yeah.
Yaka is my guy. Yaka is very, very, very fun guy. But when he's on the field, he's just a big dog,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that about him. Like for real.
Yeah.
And he's funny as hell.
Good, man. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm enjoying it here in Denmark. The people here are great. And also, okay, so kind of backtrack a bit. How did you get the opportunity to go to Frankfurt? Because I know previous year you were in Ingolstadt and Potsdam.
Yeah.
And so how did this opportunity come up? And like I said, I was glad when I saw they signed you. I was like, oh, that's my guy, Kevin, you know?
So how did it came up? So after my year in Potsdam, I was in a talk with Coach K, not about the ELF, but with the previous team where he was before. And we were talking, but things didn't happen because of Corona got here. And then around December, I think 2020, got back in contact. Was asking if I was still planning to play, and I told him yes. Talked about it, and talked to me about the project of the ELF, and came back to me maybe a few months later, after everything was settled and sure, and signed up with them. But I knew that on the team there would be one of my best friends, Anthony Mahungu. Also, some former teammates of mine from Potsdam, Gena and Yannick Kiel, and also some other players that I know from playing against them, like in national team or in the Euro Bowl, stuff like that. So that's how it happened. And to be honest with you, my mind was pretty much made up because I wanted it to be my last year, but if that was my last year, I was like I want to play with my friends. So it happened, and I made more friends, more brothers, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I love it, man. And, going from a GFL team, uh, the practice caliber is fairly high. How did it compare, with the ELF level? Was it still like how many times a week did you guys practice? And how was the coaching compared? Like I'm not saying one would be maybe worse, but was there a little more professionalism in the ELF, or was it around the same? Would you say?
So I would say, in my opinion, I would say it was a little bit professional because uh, we had coaches for every position. So which means that every players was taken care of, and yeah, and we practiced like
Yeah,
3 times a week. So it was it was a little bit different, but I was used to practice 3 times a week because back in France with my former team, we practiced like 3 times a week without counting the gym. That if we count the gym, I practice pretty much every day.
yeah,
Even the other players on the team, we practice pretty much every day. But the thing is that the difference wasn't that much, but I guess the expectation was different because in your mind you know that you're playing for a European title. You're not playing for a national title. So that's the big difference. So which means that the coaches were gonna ask you more than maybe they could ask you on the GFL, I guess. But I mean, practice still practice.
yeah,
That's the thing. Practice still practice. It's not NFL type, but you know the level will be different. Just that because you're gonna play against people not all around Europe, so you have to be prepared for that.
And now, what was your like favorite team to play against this year, as far as like competition? And did the German teams, was it different playing like the team from Barcelona versus the team from Poland, or were they all their own challenges? Like,
For me, I would say they have their own challenges. That was different. But my favorite game to play this year. Uh, Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say Hamburg. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say Hamburg because I like. So wait, I have two games that I liked. I like to play against Hamburg and against Barcelona. Hamburg because that was a rivalry game. I know that that rivalry is from a long time from NFL Europe.
yeah,
So you know, I paid a lot of like every game is the same, right? But rivalry game for me have a different taste. And I missed the first game of the season where they won against us, but that was my favorite one because the I don't know, the spice of the rivalry game is just like that. You know, the tension of it, and I know on the other team they must have some cool guys off the field, but when we are on the field, I don't care about this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was just good because I know they had good players. So you know, playing against for me is always a challenge to go against good players. Like you have Eddie Bali, you have Bombek, you have Brooke, the middle linebacker. You also have their corner, number 23, Rogers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, on defense they have a lot of people. Like they even have a former teammates of mine from the national team too. So that playing against them was a real challenge because at every position they have at least one player who's good. And Barcelona is just because Barcelona, I guess it was the favorite team of the league because I don't know they were fun to watch first,
Yeah.
and you know every time that I play against Spanish players, I know they have that intensity, so I guess that was good. But playing them on their own field in Barcelona, that was very hard because I didn't expect their fan to be that wild. So that was fun and crazy because at the same time they hated us, but at the same time they respect us. So
Yeah.
that was kind of cool. So I kind of liked it. So yeah, that was both of my favorite games.
Yeah, one of my friends too played for Barcelona this year. Artur Pinheiro, number 93. He was plays D line for them.
Oh yeah, I see who it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good dude too. Off the field, on the field, he's same. The dog mentality comes in.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the thing that people need to understand too is that on the field, like we're not gonna like each other because that's football. I mean, I could play against my friend, of course. I mean, we he's my friend, but on the field, I mean, we're just battling to win the game. That's it.
Yeah,
And that's the thing that I also liked about the ELF is that they let the you know that spirit that we like. You know, when there were tension, the referees were making sure that it doesn't get out of line, but that was also you know we were trash talking stuff like this, and we were they didn't mind, you know, and that was a good thing, and that's also part of the show and part of the sport. So that's something that I really appreciated too about the league.
yeah, and I think my question too was going to be like, where were the craziest fans? But it seems like Barcelona has that one for sure. But also, like looking at the
Oh wait,
CFL.
we have crazy fans too.
Okay, yeah,
We have mad fans too. I remember against when we played in Rocklow,
yeah,
um, we didn't expect to see our fans at all, but there were like maybe 20 of them or 30 of them who made the trip, and they made sure that the Polish people heard them, and it worked. So that was good.
That's good. That's good. It's always good when the fans travel with you because you have a little section for yourself,
Yeah,
and when you do something good, you can go over. Um,
exactly.
but it's good you're saying like the refs and everything let the boys play. I know in the CFL like they're not too strict on the celebrations and they that's the thing with the NFL. They call it the no fun league because you can't really
Yeah, it's
have
not
have
fun at
some
all.
character or personality. I know there was a guy a couple years ago, Lyman. They scored a big touchdown in overtime or something like that on Ottawa, and he ran over to his girlfriend and took her beer and just drank the whole beer
Okay.
there. No flags, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, celebration is also a part of the game, and football games are also a big show for everybody. Players, coaches, fans, um, you know, people from the staff, everybody, and we have to right to enjoy it, and the fans have the right to see us enjoy it. So that's why I like the fact that every set there wasn't flag on celebrations and stuff like this. There could have been flags, like a lot of them, but
Yeah,
they didn't. And that's the thing that we like too. That was a fucking show, and everybody loves it. So who cares?
yeah. And playing under the almost NFL like rules as far as different things, 2 feet in bounds and all that. Was that an adjustment and did it make it feel a little more like a bigger stage like it was or
um, Not really, but I felt like it would be better because now you have to be like more careful to details, I guess. For example, for the 2 feet in bounds,
yeah.
stuff like this. The fact that when you go on the ground, if nobody touches you, you can get up and run. I think that's better. I think because it was easy. Like when you catch the ball, if you're a defender and the receiver just fall into the ground, you don't have to touch him.
Yeah.
That's it. That's different. But now you have to make sure that you touch him at least so that he doesn't get up and go or gain more yards. And yeah, I mean, also it felt more professional in the championship game because they have the instant replay. That was different, and I know that they say that they're gonna bring this for the next season. So I guess next season will be different because there are some games I'm not gonna mention it, but there are some games that we know that some teams shouldn't have won if there were like instant replay.
Yeah.
So I think it would be better, and for the fans, for the real fans, for the football fans who know football, I think they will enjoy it more because now you cannot say that they should have rewatched that play. I mean, if we rewatch that play, this team wouldn't have won. Like we can say that everything would be a little bit more fair.
Yeah, because they'll be able to review all the close calls, especially like
Exactly.
in tight games. Um, and being part of history now, like you mentioned earlier that like the rivalry between Hamburg and Gal. I mean, I remember playing Madden back in the day,
Yeah.
and you could be like the Frankfurt Galaxy and all those teams, right? So it kind of brings me back, and I remember being a kid like, what the heck are even these teams? You know,
Mm,
I didn't even understand that there was football in Europe, right? But um, I think also this will put like some more chatter in North America as far as um, football in Europe at a high level
yeah.
and some crossover with the pathway program and that international combine they just had. A lot of guys were over there for that.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's all good things for European football. And like I said, there may be people that disagree, but I've yet to
Yeah.
see a good argument really to say like why this league is not doing good
I
things.
mean, there's one thing that I would say to people is that in Europe they always say that American football is missing exposure. Well, the ELF brings exposure, so what do you want more? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You want an exposure? Well, the ELF does it. Like even Sports Illustrated have I think a top 20 or top 10 of prospect players from the league. I mean prospect about the players in the league, and I mean it happened before, I guess, but that's still a good thing. Like having Sports Illustrated talking about the players in the ELF. That's something that's kind of cool. Like imagine this: you're a 20-year-old kid, and like you arrived in the ELF and you see that, you say, oh, that's kind of good. Like there's some things to work out. And again, like when I think about the ELF, most of the time I think about the younger kids, like the kids that don't have the chance maybe to go in the US or Canada because they don't have enough money, but they could play in the ELF, win some. I'm not gonna say great money, but could win good money if they're making good, if they're doing good, and living somewhere for 6 months. Then after you go back, but you're still gonna be able like to have some tapes to send to coaches, or if you're doing very, very good, maybe having a chance to go to the NFL international pathway. So
Yeah.
there's
And
so many things that you need to see.
you're
Like,
around great coaches, so you're getting the top like quality coaching in Europe. And my cousin just started football this year, a long distance cousin I met when I
yeah,
came because my grandma's from Denmark and I got him involved with our team. And he's was loving the ELF this year. And young guy plays O line and is excited because he's like, maybe I can put up good tape over the next few years. I'm still young enough. I get to travel, and football can
exactly.
take me somewhere around Europe, and and that's a good goal to have. You know,
Yeah, and I think people miss the big picture of all of this. It's just that it's not about the the players who have been established already in Europe. Is all about the kids behind, because then again, we were complaining about losing kids to Canada or USA, but now you can have a chance to. I mean, they could still go if they want to. Actually, even the ELF is still here, but they could come back and play here, and that would still be good for the Europe, for the football in Europe, because they're gonna bring more level to the game as well, and
yeah,
I
and back
mean,
to their home clubs. They spend a few years on a
exactly, back
team.
to their home club. Exactly, like you play 6 months maybe in the LF, you want to go back to your home club, or else there is so many good points about the league that people just don't see it. But then again, I understand their point of view. But at the end of the day, we have to move forward and get football better in Europe, because like nobody proposed this something that exposed than the ELF, except the NFL Europe.
Yeah,
And NFL Europe was managed by Americans for Americans. That's a big difference.
yeah, these guys know what Europe needs and how Europe like that's the biggest. And I think even for coaches when they first come over here, just the culture change of, yeah, well, practice is going on, and Yannick has his grandmother's birthday, so he won't be at the game or this practice. And it's like,
Yeah.
and in the States we don't have that same mentality, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Like family's important here, but that
Mm,
I guess the point I'm making is the culture shock of the European way and fitting that
yeah.
in, and having people Europeans in charge of this league makes sense for the
Hmm.
longevity of it. Um, and yeah, like you said, the kids, and also for coaches that are trying to work their way up, there's a new goal for coaching at the highest level in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Then you
Exactly.
have
I
an
mean,
opportunity.
that's exactly a good point too. Like for coaches, if you didn't get the chance maybe to go or elsewhere, well, you have another platform where you could coach and meet some other coaches who could help you go to the next level as well. Like there's so many things good about it that, I mean, regardless, not everybody will be happy about it. It's rare to see something new coming or having something, and everybody, the majority, are loving it. You're always gonna have a part of people who would not like something, and you cannot change that.
Yeah,
That's something that you cannot change. So people would not like it still, but right now the league is developing in a good way. So we'll see.
that's true. And yeah, like something I'd like to see maybe the teams hopefully do is for training camp, like in the NFL and in the CFL, they bring in like guest coaches. So it'd be cool if
Yeah,
the ELF during their training phase could bring in like guest coaches from teams around Europe that want to be there and see how like that high level operates. I think
and
that would be really
I
cool.
think they did that last year though. Like
Okay.
some teams called out, not called out, but said that if coaches wanted to come during their training camp, they're welcome to. I think that's Barcelona who did that, if I'm not mistaken, and that's it. I think only Barcelona did it in my mind, from what I remember. So yeah, I mean that's man, the league is just good. It's just
Yeah.
good to see that people liked it. It's good that to see that people enjoyed watch the game, especially the championship game. It's good to see that.
Yeah, and also on the coaches too. There's a diversity of coaches as far as nationalities. There's German coaches, there was Canadian coaches in
Yeah,
the league, there was Americans. So that good mix as well. And ideally, I would like to see it eventually be all European coaches, even though that kind of makes me not have a job anymore.
yeah,
But you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's where it should get to.
I mean, yeah, that's where it should get to. But at the same time, it's also good to see that um, having a staff, coaching staff was mixed up with Americans, German, Spanish in some teams. But if you watch closely, most of the team have local coaches, pretty much. Pretty much. Like I think maybe there was maybe one team who didn't have one. I'm not sure, but if you see, they pretty much have local coaches, and that's a good thing. That shows that even though we have European coaches, as much people think that some European coaches are not that good, some of them still make a good work. So
Yeah.
that means that is good. That which means that we're going in the right direction. So instead of trying to bring these things down, it's better like to find a solution. So if people want to be the part of the solution, good. If you don't want to be part of the solution, or you can go the other way, it's still good.
Yeah. Fair enough. Right. Okay. So just to close this off, give me your favorite moment from this season. And I mean the championship for sure, or maybe something about that game. I don't know, but let's hear it.
Oh, ah, my favorite moment of the season. Uh, I mean, yeah, I guess the if I'm talking about personally, I think I would say I'm gonna say my touchdown.
Yeah.
That might sound selfish, but I'm gonna say my touchdown, just because I remember I missed the my first catch, my first reception. That was a big drop at the beginning of the game, but in my mind, I was just like, I saw the reaction of the other team, and I and nobody talked to me because they knew, but in my mind, I just kept that. Okay, championship game. I made my first drop, and I was like, the next one's gonna be a touchdown, and the next one, fourth quarter, uh, scored and bring the team back to a one possession game. That for me meant a lot because I just wanted I just wanted to people to understand that I could have dropped that ball. I didn't have amazing stats like on the paper, but don't count me out. And yeah, that was it. And then after that, the big celebration with the team.
Yeah.
So because like we came, people don't know the work that we put in, especially us, the offense, because me arriving late, being able to for the being for the OC, being able to put people on not on the spotlight, but put us forward. That was kind of hard, but at the moment that we start clicking, that was different, and I guess that was if I take the touchdown out, I guess that would be one of my favorite moments. So which means that we started clicking together at the second game against Hamburg. So the one that we played at home. That was one of the favorite moments because that was the real face of our team. And after that, we just kept working hard and it paid off.
Yeah. That's sort of like the aha moment. Like,
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Exactly. It's like, okay, everybody's clicking now. Hi, here we go. So that was very good.
Awesome, man. Well, I love watching you play, and I'm excited to see you play wherever you're at next year. And thanks for coming on and having a chat for the first
Thank you very
episode
much.
of the new
Uh,
season. So there we go.
Thank you. I appreciated that
Yeah.
too for the support and everything.
Yeah. Take care, brother.
Take care too.